We be live. Shalom, shalom, everyone. How's everyone doing? Please make sure you like the stream right now. Sarah is here highlighting your comments. Thank you so much for your service, Sarah. Yeah, see, just like that. Now it's saying, hey, everyone. Guys, make sure you like the stream. And also, please confirm in the live chat that you have liked the stream so other people see that you have liked the stream so that they also like the stream, okay? And also, make sure you include your opinions because Sarah will be highlighting your comments so that your opinions get to be part of the show as well. Anyways, guys, let's get right to the point. Things on Iran are changing fast and more faster than even I anticipated. And this is, however, the reason why this is happening is exactly based. Our analysis on of everything has proven to be correct. The main pressure on the Islamic Republic are Israel and the Iranian women taking off their hijab, and these two forces are having a major impact on the regime. And also now we have Trump coming, the sanctions are coming back, and the economy is getting hit hard. So many things are changing. The next couple of years for Iran are going to be very, very game changing. So you guys need to be subscribed here if you want to make sure that you are up to date with everything is happening, right? So remember, the hijab and Israel are basically the two blades of the same scissor cutting the Islamic Republic. Actually, remove this here. There we go. And as predicted, with the humiliation of the Islamic Republic by Israel, very soon the Iranian people, they also realizing that the regime is weaker, and every time the Iranian people feel like their regime is weak, they come out. They smell the blood of the regime, and they come and they become more the bravery. They are less afraid of the regime enforcing hijab laws because they see the weakness of the regime. So let's go see what's happening. The context of this is that the Islamic Republic has recently introduced new, very, very aggressive anti, enforcement of hijab laws. So anti, showing your hair, anti showing any parts of your body, like any violation of hijab laws have been the new law that has been introduced has come with a lot of severe punishments for women who are going to be violating the mandatory hijab laws. And it's amazing because the Iranian women are not taking it very seriously. I told you on this channel, a lot of people ask me, like, oh no, the regime is now going to do this. They introduce a law. So they're introducing cameras. They're doing this in the metro station. They're doing that. So are we going backwards? And I told you on this channel that it's almost impossible for the regime to basically undo what's happening. Right now, if you go to Tehran, in certain areas, half of the women are not wearing hijab, and the regime is threatening and promising swift and aggressive actions, and they're acting like nothing is happening. And there's a couple of images that has gone viral on Iranian social media. This is one of them. So it's not just that they're not wearing the hijab, they're actively taunting the regime. They are insulting, they're humiliating the regime. So let me describe why this image went viral. This is a sign. The sign is a reminder for Iranian women to wear the hijab, right? And this is, guys, this is in Iran. This woman came and took a picture next to it, showing her face. Look at the level of daring that is, like the level of bravery that is happening here, because she's doing this. Let me remind you the way that this is what we're used to, right? So you can see, like, this is old. By old, I mean a few months, because things are changing so fast in Iran that, things that used to be the norm a few months ago are considered very, very old. And we used to get shocked by images like this as the new trend. The new trend was women. So these girls are in Iran. They're showing their hair. They're without hijab. They're showing their middle finger to a hijab sign. So that hijab sign is saying رایت حجاب احترام به حرمت الهی است. So that sign is saying, abiding by hijab rules is showing respect to the laws of Allah, right? And these women, they're showing their, in Iran, they're showing their hair, they're not wearing the hijab, and they're showing their middle finger to it. However, the thing that you can see here, and this is just one example. Like I've shown you on this very channel, many, many images like this. This has become like a viral trend in Iran for women to basically show their middle fingers to signs like this. But the thing that they were all had in common is that the women that did this, they were not showing their faces. The picture used to be from behind. You could only see the back of their face because they didn't want to be identified. That was a few months ago, okay? And I'm telling you, things are changing so fast. This is now the new way of doing it, meaning that she's showing her face, okay? She's not hiding her face. And it's not just her hair showing, she's showing some skin, she's showing her leg. So let's see what this sign is saying. This sign is saying, لطفاً حجاب اسلامی رو رعایت فرمایید. So this sign is saying, please abide by Islamic hijab rules. And this woman is saying, yeah, sure, okay, here you go. Here you go. So this image has gone viral. Another image that has gotten viral is this one. This requires a little bit of an explanation. Like, why is she going like this? And I appreciate somebody on Discord told me how to explain this to you guys, because this might be a little bit, you know, the culture, the traditions, you might not understand what's happening. So this sign here, yes, this sign is saying, از اینکه در این مکان حجاب خود را رعایت می‌کنید سپاسگزاریم. So the sign says, we thank you that you are abiding, you're wearing your hijab, you're abiding by hijab rules in this location. So basically, this is a guilt trip, right? Like it's basically trying to make you feel guilty if you're not wearing the hijab. Like imagine if a sign says in a library, for example, said, thank you for being quiet. Or another says, thank you for not littering here, right? So it's basically trying to say, I assume, like the sign is assuming that you're abiding by laws and it's thanking you. So in case you're not abiding by it, you feel guilty for not doing it, right? So that part is easily explainable. So it's saying thank you for abiding by the laws. But what she's doing, she's saying, sure, no problem, while not wearing hijab. So this is kind of a trend in Iran. If somebody is trying to thank you for doing something as a way to guilt you into doing it. So in Iran, you actively not doing it while saying, sure, no problem, is a way of saying, go eat shit. You know, like it's an insult. So I don't know if we have a similar trend of it in the English-speaking world, you know. So imagine a sign saying, thank you for doing such a thing. And then you not doing that thing and also saying, sure, no problem, while not doing that thing. That's considered polite, like a passive-aggressive way of saying, go fuck yourself. Yes, exactly. The cat is saying, fuck you very much indeed. Yes, something like that. So that's what she's doing. She's basically not wearing the hijab and saying, sure, no problem. So I hope I managed to explain that as effective as possible. Let me know if you understand what's happening here, right? So, by the way, when I say the regime is weak and pathetic when it comes to enforcing hijab, yeah, reverse psychology. Yeah, the sign is using reverse psychology. You thanking the sign and not doing what the sign is doing is saying, basically is calling out the sign for trying to use reverse psychology and saying, go fuck yourself to the sign. That's basically the summary of it, right? But guys, so I'm going to show you this video. I just want to make sure that you understand that these things are still happening, but they're happening less. So it's not like when I say the government is very weak right now and it's impossible for them to be able to completely enforce the hijab laws, it doesn't mean that they're not trying to. There are some people that are still doing some shit like this. So for example, these are in Qom in Iran. 2 girls were attacked by these officials for not wearing hijab. So let's watch this. This is a recent video. This is not an old video. This is recent. So So I want you to understand that this is right now considered bold by the regime to do such a thing, to dare do such a thing, because the Iranian people are, you know, so powerful right now relative to the regime that it requires bravery for the regime to dare do such a thing. The reason why they're recording all of this, the regime people, is because they want to defend themselves. Like, this is the, and again, these things are still happening, but as of right now, the people have the upper hand. There are a lot more videos when they were trying to do something. I showed you in the previous streams that they were trying to arrest women to do such a thing, and the crowd didn't let the officials get away with the girls. And people, like, they were fighting back. Some of the girls were even hitting the officials, and the officials are finding it a risk to their safety to basically attack girls sometimes, which is a good thing. But I just want to tell you that just because the people have the upper hand right now in many places, it doesn't mean it's not happening. It's still sometimes happening, and it's still a risk to the girls and women taking off their hijab. So watch this. Okay, guys, I need you guys to like the stream. I need people to see what's happening in Iran right now. So I need you guys to like this video so that more people end up seeing this. I want to show you a somewhat older video, and by older I don't mean like 10 years or 5 years. I mean just mean like last year video. Okay, I just wanted to, because I think a lot of you haven't seen this video. This was from a few months ago. I just wanted to see the level, the red lines that have been are being crossed are not just taking off your hijab. This is a video in Iran. Everything I'm showing you right now is in Iran. And again, it's hard to believe that this video that I'm about to show you is in Iran. And it's not just in Iran, it's in a mosque. It's in a religious mosque, the female section. And look what's happening. This lady was so pissed off with the hijab rules and the oppression of women, and basically the officials basically arresting people without hijab and trying to force their Islamic way on people, that she decided to show up without a hijab, with a dress, dancing, not inside this, not just in the streets of Iran, but in the middle of a mosque. So watch this. I don't know if this music is going to give me a copyright strike, so like maybe I should just mute the song so I don't get a copyright. But look at that. This is inside a mosque, inside Iran. I cannot, like, I don't know. I'm keep repeating myself. It's just because I find it unbelievable. Wait. And it's funny because the person that put a song on this, they're putting a religious song on it. You know, I'm gonna cut the song. I'm gonna get a copyright strike. But this is bold. Like, this is what I'm telling you. This is not just shocking for people outside of Iran. This video, when it came out, and again, this is like a few months old right now. This was shocking for people inside Iran. Yeah, so that was intense. That was crazy. That was wow. That was yes. No, this is, we're live, guys. There's somebody saying, is this recorded? No, I'm live. Don't you see the comments being highlighted? I mean, eventually it will be re-released as a recorded video, but right now we're live. Anyways, oh, let's go to the next video. We're gonna super chat. I like this. Thank you so much. The notorious Jew is saying nothing beats an atheist republic life in the AM. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, but by the way, guys, the reason why I go live right now is because that's the time because we're international. Yeah, so it's not just based on the US. or Canada. It's also Europe, Asia, Middle East. So we have an international audience. Anyway, so let me tell you regarding the hijab. Let me show you. We are seeing again. I don't know how you want to judge the video that I'm about to show you. Some people will say, some people will welcome what this mullah has to say regarding hijab. Some people are saying that this just means that they are scared and this is a defense mechanism. You let me know what your interpretation is of what this mullah is about to say. Let me actually make sure that I selected the right video.
اگر بنا بود که مجادات داشته باشه باید میگفت. اگر نگفت.
So this mullah in Iran is now trying to argue that Islamically hijab is not mandatory. And again, this is a mullah in Iran. I think they are. So the interpretation that a lot of people have of this is that they're being defeated so much by women taking off their hijab that some mullahs are thinking that maybe we should just come and say that hijab is not mandatory by Islam just to save our skin. Because remember, guys, when I tell you that women without hijab are a huge threat to the Islamic Republic, is because the Islamic Republic, everybody needs to understand this. Israel and hijab, they are destroying the Islamic Republic for the reason, for this very basic and simple reason, because these two are making the Islamic Republic lose its base. If Israel ever results in the Islamic regime toppling, it's not because they came and destroyed the regime. It's because they made the people who are the pro-regime lose faith in the regime because they weren't able to return back the aggression of Israel. And if Iranian women ever managed to topple the regime, it's not because they came to the streets in such large numbers eventually that they that they managed to come and with force take out the regime. The reason why Iranian women without their hijab will eventually, if eventually they topple the regime, is because by not wearing their hijab, they're making the religious-based support of the regime lose faith in the regime, because the regime is not able to enforce Islamic laws, right? So if we assume that the regime, the Islamic Republic in Iran right now has, let's say, I think maybe less than 6% support. I have my reasons for that number, but nobody can be sure. If that 6% turns into 3%, they will not be able to survive anymore. And how do you get that 6% to 3%? Because this is a religious hardliner support that the regime has. You lose that 6% support, not because the secular-minded, liberal-minded people became bigger. It's because that 6% support is once an Islamic regime. They did the revolution. They gave martyrs. They gave so much of their lives trying to have an Islamic regime. And this regime is incapable of responding to the enemies of Islam, i.e. Israel, and is incapable of enforcing Islamic laws, most visibly the hijab. So this is why I think this mullah is trying to come out and say, you know what? Mandatory hijab is not even part of Islam to begin with, as a way to try to get out of this by saying that we don't have to enforce hijab laws, so that we're still Islamic without enforcing hijab laws. They're trying to find a way out. So listen to this. I mean, that's my interpretation of what he's saying. Let's listen to what he's saying.
اگر بنا بود که مجادات داشته باشه باید میگفت. اگر
So he's saying if it was supposed to have a punishment for not wearing the hijab, it should have said so. So I think he's referring to the Quran. Like, why doesn't the Quran say that mention a punishment for not wearing the
نگفته
hijab?
باشه العیاذ بالله ما داریم به خدا یک کار قبیحی رو نسبت میدیم.
He's saying if we say if the Quran doesn't introduce a punishment for not wearing the hijab, and we say that God wants punishment for not wearing the hijab, we are basically attributing something ugly, something evil to Allah, where He Himself has not declared it so.
میگیم خدای متعال اومده چیزی رو که باید میگفت نگفته.
So he's saying that what we're saying, this is basically saying this is a sin in Islam. He's saying if we say that God wants punishment for not wearing the hijab, we're basically suggesting that God is not perfect, because we're saying God hasn't said something that he should have said, right? Look at this.
چیزی رو که باید میگفت نگفته.
Yeah, so if God wanted to give punishment for not wearing the hijab, he would have said it. And if we say that God doesn't want us to punish not wearing the hijab, we're basically acting like we know more than God, basically. So we're attributing a saying to God where he himself didn't see fit to say so.
پیامبرش هم نگفته.
God didn't say that. His prophet didn't say
هم
that.
نگفته.
And the imams never said such a thing. So neither God or Muhammad in the hadith or the hadith of the 12 imams, you don't see any punishment mentioned for not wearing the
حالا ما
hijab.
از خودمون میخوایم در بیاریم بگیم که مجازاتم که
So we are basically making this up on ourselves. We're just deciding that there should be a punishment for not wearing a hijab, even though there's no hadith or no Quranic verse.
حضرات بزرگواری که با تندروی میخوان.
Guys, this is bizarre. Like, do you understand? We didn't have mullah for the past 40 years. We didn't have mullahs in Iran coming out and saying there shouldn't be punishment for not wearing the hijab. This is a giving up a power because of the Iranian people are forcing them to. This is the inability for enforcing the hijab laws, and now they're trying to make excuses for it, slowly trying to get out of it.
حجاب رو در جامعه حاکم بکنن، یک آیه یا یک حدیث به من نشان بدن که برای عدم رعایت یا یک سیره یا یک سنت به من.
So he's saying if the officials want to enforce hijab laws, please show me at least one verse or one hadith or one sirah, means like the stories or of the prophet, or one sunnat, means the one tradition of the prophet or the imams. Give me at least one of these things, either a Quranic verse or a hadith or a sirah or a sunnah. He's saying you don't have any of these four to suggest that in Islam you have to have punishments for not wearing the hijab.
بدن بگن آقا فلان آیه میگه عدم رعایت حجاب مجازات داره. یا بگن.
So basically, just to understand, it's not that he thinks that hijab is a bad, like he thinks you should wear the hijab. Like these types of mullahs would say that, but not wearing the hijab, the punishment of it is supposed to be left to Allah. That's what he thinks, not to the government. He's saying we don't have any Islamic tradition where the government enforces the hijab. If Islam says hijab is mandatory, that means that's something between you and Allah, not between you and the government. It basically means that it's a sin not to wear the hijab, but it shouldn't be a crime. That's what he says. Like it's a sin, but not a crime. That's, I think, his view.
فلان حدیث از پیامبر
Yes, yeah.
یا ائمه اطهار فرمودن که عدم رعایت حجاب این مجازات رو داره، یا بیان بگن که نه پیغمبر اکرم صلوات الله سنت ارائه بده، بگن که پیامبر اکرم صلوات الله علیه چیکار کرده؟ کسی رو به خاطر عدم رعایت حجاب مجازات کرد.
Yeah, like for example, he's saying, for example, show me that Prophet Muhammad came and punished somebody. Like, give me one tradition, one story of Muhammad that he punished somebody for not wearing the hijab.
یا بگن حضرت علی در مقام حکومتش.
So guys, the mullahs that I'm showing you, these are official Islamic scholars from Hawza Ilmiya Qom in Iran, which is basically the highest religious seminary. Was that what they're called? Intellectual body in Iran, right? So, and sometimes there is some clash between. It's kind of like the Vatican of Shia Islam. That's what it is, right? So if Tehran is the political center of Iran, Qom is the religious center of Iran. It's kind of like Vatican, is Qom, and I don't know, like Tehran is the political capital. And sometimes there's some tension between these two, right? So these are the religious, very well recognized religious scholars from the Hosei Elmi Qom, which is their highest religious. So there's two main religious authorities in Shia Islam. One is in Iraq, the other one is in Iran. So the one in Iraq is Najaf, and the one in Iran is Qom. And the Qom, yeah. So this guy is from Qom.
در مقام حکومتش کسی رو به خاطر عدم رعایت حجاب مجازات کرده. ما این چیز رو نداریم. حجابی که مرحوم مهسا امینی داشت.
This guy, guys, this part, listen to this part. He's saying the hijab that the late Mahsa Amini was wearing. What do you think he's going to say next? What do you think he's going to say next? He's now referring to Mahsa Amini. Guys, this is a confirmation of all the things that I've been telling you on this channel. So let's listen what he has to say. Listen to this.
مرحوم مهسا امینی داشت و متاسفانه بردن ارشادش بکنند و اون مسائل پیش اومد.
And he's saying Mahsa Amini, who unfortunately they took her to give her some advice and all the things that we know happened.
به نظر من امروز آرزوی حکومته.
He says, I think today the hijab that Mahsa Amini was wearing today is the type of hijab that is the dream, the wish of the Islamic Republic right now, the wish of the government right now. Do you understand what he's saying? So this whole wave of the anti-hijab rebellion in Iran started with Mahsa Amini. Mahsa Amini was wearing her hijab, but her hijab was not worn properly, right? And that's why she was arrested. This man is saying, we have now reached a point that it is the biggest dream of the regime right now if women were at least wearing right now what Mahsa Amini was wearing. Because women in Iran are wearing so much less than Mahsa Amini. The new trend, the new norm in Iran is way beyond, way less than what Mahsa Amini was wearing at that time. The cat lady is saying you never appreciate what you have until you lose it. Sure. Yeah, basically. Do you see what an admission that is? Do you see what an admission that is?
ارشادش بکنند و اون مسائل پیش اومد. به نظر من امروز آرزوی حکومته، آرزوی حاکمیته، آرزوی خیلی هاست که همین حجاب خانم مهسا امینی امروز رعایت بشه.
Yeah, he's saying it's the dream of the officials that the type of hijab that Mahsa Amini was wearing, that women in Iran were just wearing at least that type of hijab. I'm going to show you now another video that is going to demonstrate so perfectly how things have escalated since just a few months ago. And it's a huge example of how things are escalating to a point that I think a lot of you are not realizing. Let me show you this one. This video, because guys, it's not just about not wearing the hijab or even showing legs. You know, people are coming in with tank tops, with shorts. Women are aggressively even fighting the regime officials that are coming in. Like, women are getting very aggressive just if somebody comes and tells them like, hey lady, can you please wear your hijab? Not even when it comes to arrest, like even if you just remind them to wear the hijab, they come at you aggressively. But that's the norm now, like in many places, but it's even beyond that. And this woman, I mean, look at her. She doesn't look like a black chadori woman that like we associate with very religious women. You would think like, okay, this woman is wearing the hijab, but she seems to be more on the chill side of religious people, not the like crazy, like chadori, black chadori type of woman. Like she seems to be that type of woman, right? But look at her experience in Iran while wearing her hijab. And look at and watch the response to her, because somebody posted this. She posted this, and this man took her video and he's responding to her. And I will show you what and again, I have to make, before I play this, I have to explain to YouTube that I do not endorse what is happening to this woman, and I do not endorse what this man is suggesting at all. I am just showing this video. I have to be very careful here. I am just showing this video for people to understand how much things are escalating in Iran. Okay, so please, YouTube, please understand that I do not condone any of this. Violence is bad. Violence is bad, guys. We do not promote violence on this YouTube channel. So this is just for educational purposes, for you to understand what's happening in Iran. So let's watch this.
میگن آزادی. من یه دختر چادریم. هر وقت با چادر میرم بیرون بد نگام میکنن چون چادر دارم.
So this is a man who's responding to her. So she's saying that these people, meaning us liberals, secular Iranians, who are the Mahsa Amini revolution people, the Zan Zendegi Azadi people, okay? She says that these people talk about freedom. So she's trying to attack the Zan Zendegi Azadi people. He said, these people talk about freedom, but when I go out into the streets with my chador is like a type of hijab, they always look at me insultingly, with disrespect.
میگن آزادی. من یه دختر چادریم. هر وقت با چادر میرم بیرون بد نگام میکنن چون چادر دارم.
So she says that they look at me in a bad way because I'm wearing my hijab, because I'm wearing my chador, right? So before we watch the rest of the video, just realize that we are now in Iran in a situation where it's not the women without hijab that are just complaining that maybe sometimes the officials are harassing them. The situation in Iran is, this Islamic country. A lot of people consider Iran to be an Islamic country. It's now a country where chadori women, where hijabi women are feeling oppressed. Do you understand the wave of secularism, anti-Islamism, anti-hijab attitudes that is happening in Iran, where hijabi women are feeling like they're the minority, that when they go into the streets, hijabi, I mean like religious hijabi, right? Like chadori women, they feel like they are being oppressed and insulted because they're wearing the chador. This is a major shift, but it's not just that. So this man is taking the video and he's responding to him. So he's obviously on the Zan Zendegi Azadi side. Yes, the cat lady saying Iranians are Islamophobic. I mean, they are more aggressively anti-Islam. So let's see what this man has to say in response.
با چادر میرید تو خیابون بهتون بد نگاه میکنن به خاطر اینه که شما حجاب استایل گند زدین تو مملکت و مردم جوری ازتون کینه دارن که فقط میتونن با چشم تنفر بهتون نگاه کنن.
So this man is justifying how she's being treated. He's saying the reason why this is happening to you is because you people with the chador, with the religious hijab, you are the people who have ruined our country. You have basically brought misery and basically ruined the country. He's basically saying you have shat on the country, so you have brought nothing but ruin and misery for us, and basically you deserve to be treated like that. So hold on.
و مردم جوری ازتون کینه دارن که فقط میتونن با چشم تنفر بهتون.
Oh yeah, so basically he's saying the people like you have ruined the country so much that people hate you in such the hatred for you in the country is so intense that people can only look at you in such a way. So he's saying it's justified. Again, I'm not saying it. I'm just showing you what this man is responding.
هر وقت تو فضای اینستاگرام پستی میذارم، حتی اگر موضوع اون پست ربطی به حجاب نداشته باشه، بهم فحش میدن چون چادر دارم.
So she's saying that when I make a post on Instagram, even if my Instagram post has nothing to do with hijab, Iranians in the comment section, they insult me, they swear at me just because I'm wearing the hijab, just because I'm wearing the chador, like the Iranians. Like even if my Instagram post has nothing to do with hijab, I still get insulted for my hijab. Okay, so and then the man says,
هر وقت تو اینستاگرام پستی میذاری و فحش میخوری به خاطر اینه که امثال شماها موافق طرح صیانت و فیلترینگ اینستاگرام بودن و میلیارد.
So he's saying that when you make a post on Instagram, the people like you were the ones who were in favor of filtering Instagram, because guys, in Iran, most websites and social media are filtered, they're blocked for access, and people have to use VPNs to be able to access them. And he's basically, this man is calling her out on her hypocrisy. Like, why you're posting on Instagram while religious people like you are the ones who supported filtering Instagram, blocking Instagram, which has made many people, small businesses, lose the income because social media, Instagram, Facebook, I don't know, YouTube, these are ways for people to advertise their services. And in Iran, a lot of people cannot afford VPNs, or it's very hard with slow internet to use VPN and access these services. So many people are losing income. And he says when people see you with your chador on Instagram, they swear at you because it was people like you who made Instagram inaccessible.
ها هزینه و تبلیغ کردن تا مردم رو بکشونن به سمت روبیکو.
Yeah, so he said that you were the people who were advertising so much for filtering the internet, and eventually where the parliament passed a law for blocking these.
اینستاگرام بودن و میلیاردها هزینه و تبلیغ کردن تا مردم رو بکشونن به سمت روبیکا. پس تویی که مخالف این اینستاگرامی با فیلتر شکن میای و تو این اینستاگرام مطلب میذاری، حقته که فحش ناموس.
So he said you people who are were in favor of filtering, and now when you come on Instagram yourself and post something, then you deserve to be sworn at. You deserve to be insulted.
یه خانم رو در کوچه پس کوچه های شهرم کتک میزنن چون چادر داره.
Okay, this part I have to be very clear. I don't even know if what she's saying is true or not. I'm just going to translate what she's saying, and I'm also going to say YouTube violence is bad. We're against violence. Okay, she's saying that women are being beaten up in alleys, in back alleys, just because they're wearing hijab. That's what she's saying. I have no idea where she's getting that from. But what the weird thing is that the man does not say this is not happening. The man is going to say good. Well, I mean, the man is going to be like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I don't know. Again, guys, I have no idea where she's getting this from, and I do not endorse violence, okay?
چادر داره.
اون خانم چادری در کوچه پس کوچه های شهرتون کتک میخوره به خاطر اینکه ان مردم رو میخوره و به اسم دین و اسلام مزاحم ناموس مردم میشه.
So he's saying if that woman who's being beaten up in back alleys for wearing hijab, the reason why she's being beaten up is because she ate shit. And these are the same people that were harassing people before. Hold on. Yeah, I don't believe her either. Yeah, like he's saying because these Chadori women are the same people who use Islam to harass people.
از طرفی بچهای ما که چادر و حجاب ندارن تو کوچه پس کوچه های شهرمون تیر و گلوله میخورن و کشته میشن.
Like our people, he's saying our kids, our people who are not wearing the hijab, these are the people who are being killed, and you're saying that you're getting beaten up. Well, our people are being shot.
پس کوچه های شهرمون تیر و گلوله میخورن و کشته میشن ولی شما هیچ حرفی ازشون نمیزنید.
Yeah, like he said, you people never said something when the Mahsa revolution happened, and our people, basically saying the liberal people, the secular people, the non-hijabi people, when they were being shot dead, you people didn't say anything. So why should we care about you now when you're being beaten up in the alleys? Again, I don't think they're being beaten up in the alleys for wearing hijab. I think she's just making that up. But it's interesting that the man's response was like, you're lying. The man's response was, yeah, if you're being beaten up, it's because you were doing worse to us. You were killing us. You were shooting us. And when we were being shot and we were being killed, where were you then? So it's interesting that the comeback is not that this should not happen. The comeback, again, I'm not going to say that. I don't think anybody should be beaten up for wearing or not wearing the hijab. But anyways, I just want to show you how aggressive some people are turning against hijabis. Okay, so watch this. Yeah, again, so people saying I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him either. I'm just showing you how tense the situation is getting in some areas. Okay. And again, guys, this man is not a representative of all the, Zan Zendegi Azadi revolutionary people. Okay, this is just one guy. Okay, like many people who are participating in Zan Zendegi Azadi, they just want everybody to be able to choose whatever they want. Like if you want to wear the hijab, sure, go ahead, do it. I'm not gonna, just don't force your hijab on me, right?
شخصیمو تو فضای مجازی مطرح کنم بهم میگن خفه شو. چرا آرایش میکنی؟ چرا تو فضای
Oh, wait. This is interesting actually, this part. Hold on.
شما هیچ حرفی ازشون نمیزنید.
اگر نظر عقیده شخصیمو تو فضای مجازی مطرح کنم بهم میگن خفه شو.
She says on social media, if I express my opinion, if I express my personal opinion, I get told shut up.
چرا آرایش میکنی؟
And they ask me, why am I wearing makeup? Because, okay, guys, so in Iran, a lot of women who wear hijab and also wear makeup, they usually are made fun of and called out by the more secular-minded people that, because they're like, you're wearing the hijab, but you're also wearing makeup. I mean, the makeup is un-Islamic. And also, what's the point of the hijab if you're wearing makeup? Because the whole point of hijab is so that you are not attractive to the opposite sex. So if you're trying to not be attractive to the opposite sex, what the hell is the point of the makeup? This seems to be contradictory. So a lot of hijabi religious women in Iran who also wear makeup usually are called out for their hypocrisy of wearing makeup. So she said, like, every time I comment something on social media about my opinion, so people see her profile picture, which is a hijabi woman with makeup, people always make fun of her for her makeup.
چرا تو فضای مجازی هستی؟ چرا
Oh, and she's also made fun of for being on social media because apparently the regime has made it she shouldn't be on. So the government has provided an alternative Iranian, internal social media. So they have an alternative for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram that is Iranian made, and they tell Iranian people that Instagram, Facebook, these are illegal. You should just be on Iranian social media. And the Iranians are like, no, fuck off. First of all, they are very slow. And also the government has access to everything that I post there. They could see my private messages. They could see who I am. So they don't try. A lot of Iranians don't trust it. The Iranian social media, right? So she's on Instagram, so she's made fun of. Like, why are you on Instagram? You should go on the government-approved social media. Yeah. So why are you going to? So she's naming the Iranian social media. She's like, why are you on Instagram? Go to the government-approved one. Rubicon. Why are you not on Rubicon? Why are you on Instagram?
بهت میگن خفه شو به خاطر اینکه نظر شخصی شماها روی کل جامعه تاثیر میذاره.
So he's saying they tell you to shut up because your opinions are affecting the entire society.
نظر شخصی زمانی شخصیه که برگرده فقط به خودت نه به دیگران.
So he's saying when you say it's just my personal opinion, your personal opinions, it's not just affecting you. Your personal opinions is affecting everyone else. So that's why they're telling you to shut up.
نه اینکه بگید شهر باید به من هیئتی عادت بکند و این چرت و پرتا. اینا نظر شخصی نیست. اینا زوره و مردم ما زیر بار زور نمیرن.
So he's saying these are not just personal opinions. These opinions are being forced upon us, and the people of Iran, we will not bend under force.
میدونی رفیق ما از هر چیزی فقط شعار دادنشو بلدیم.
Like he's basically saying we're only words and no action. Like he's basically trying to call out the Zan Zendegi Azadi people the liberal, secular people, that you're just chanting, but in action, like you ask for freedom, but in action you're actually against freedom. So basically you're just empty words when you're saying you want freedom.
بهم یک بار بگو معنی آزادی رو در چی می‌بینی؟
So she's saying, like, tell me, what do you guys mean by when you say freedom? If you don't want to tolerate my opinions, if you don't want me to wear the hijab, then when you say freedom, what the hell do you mean?
معنی آزادی یعنی بی حجاب و با
Yeah, D is saying, love that sad victim music. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's trying to be the victim here. It's very interesting because they have the regime and the laws on their side, but somehow she's the victim. Okay. So this man is now responding to her what we mean by freedom.
معنی آزادی یعنی بی حجاب و با حجاب، با خدا و بی خدا، بی دین و با دین، کنار همدیگه توی مملکتشون خوش و خرم با همدیگه زندگی.
So he's saying freedom means people with hijab, without hijab, people with God or without God, people with religion or without religion, they could live next to each other in prosperity and freedom. Okay?
معنی آزادی یعنی یک محجبه با شرف به اسم بانو فاطمه سپهری میاد و در مقابل ظلمی که به مردمش داره میشه سکوت نمیکنه.
Oh, so okay, this guy is actually, this part of what he's saying is pretty base. He's saying the meaning of freedom is that a religious hijabi woman like Fatima Sepehri. So Fatima Sepehri is an Iranian religious woman with the chador, fully religious, that she's in jail right now because she has aggressively stood against the regime in favor of the Mahsa revolution, in favor of the secular liberal-minded people of Iran, in favor of not forcing Islam upon people. So he's saying that we have women with the hijab that we respect. He's basically saying not you are not one of them. So he's saying that, yeah, we have hijabi women who are aggressively standing against the regime and the enforcement of Islam. That is what we call freedom. People who stand for freedom, right? So he's basically, this man is trying to divide some hijabi woman from the other ones. He's saying that, yeah, you're a hijabi woman, for example, that you are silent when it comes to the regime attacking us. You don't believe in the Mahsa revolution, so you're different, okay? Even if you want to respect a hijabi woman with the chador, Fatima Sepehri would be an example of a woman that we respect because she actually stood up against the regime.
شما و حرف حق رو میزنه. معنی آزادی یعنی این که همین شخص محترم رو بعد از زدن حرف حق نیان دستگیر کنن و بندازنش تو زندان. معنی آزادی
Yeah, so he's saying freedom means that Fatima Sepehri, who is a fellow hijabi woman like you, when she said what she said, the regime came and arrested her and she's now in jail on the harshest conditions, right? That's like, why are, when you, like, it's basically he's calling her out. She's saying that you guys don't believe in freedom because when I make an opinion on Instagram, you guys tell me to shut up. And so you think that we don't believe in freedom just because you're being insulted on social media. But where is your, why are you silent when the regime arrests a Fatima Sepehri, which is a hijabi woman like you, and she's in jail right now for standing up to the regime, and you don't call that out for not being freedom, and you just be calling out this? You're like, oh, this is not freedom because I'm being insulted on social media. I'm boo fucking who? Like, really, you're crying about that? You're saying that we don't believe in freedom just because you're being called out on social media, while at the same time you don't say anything about the government arresting the people who are standing up to them, even if they're hijabi. So that's actually a good point. That this part I agree with.
یعنی بچهای با شرفمون که برای حق طبیعیشون به خیابون‌ها میان رو نکشن. زندان
Yeah, like freedom means that when people come into the streets and they asking for the rights, they don't get shot. That's what freedom means. When we don't get shot, but just because we're protesting in the streets.
یعنی نکنن و شما بی شرف‌ها بیرون وایسین و اینجوری ارعر کنین واسه ماها.
Yeah, so basically she's saying that,
بچهای با شرفمون که برای حق طبیعیشون به خیابون‌ها میان رو نکشن، زندانی نکنن و شما بی شرف‌ها بیرون وایسین و اینجوری ارعر کنین واسه ماها.
Yeah, so, and while we're getting shot and while being imprisoned, you motherfuckers are just, making, I don't know how to translate this into English, making donkey sounds, basically saying these things, saying irrelevant, stupid things while we have bigger concerns.
هر وقت تونستی به نظر و عقیده و پوشش من احترام بذاری، اون موقع بیا از آزادی بگو.
So she's saying, whenever you are able to come and respect what I'm wearing, so basically my freedom to wear the
پوشش من احترام
hijab. So he's saying, she's basically saying, only speak of freedom when you're able to come and respect my hijab. That's what she's
به
saying.
خیابون‌ها میان رو نکشن، زندانی نکنن و شما بی‌شرف‌ها بیرون وایسین و اینجوری ارعر کنین واسه ما.
هر وقت تونستی به نظر و عقیده و
Oh, so whenever you manage to respect my opinion, my belief, and my clothes, my hijab, basically, only when you're able to respect that, only then come and speak of freedom. That's what she said.
پوشش من احترام بذاری، اون موقع بیا از آزادی بگو.
بابا شما دیگه خیلی پرروین، یعنی شماها دارین به عقاید و نظر شخصی ما احترام میذارید و این ماییم که صبح تا شب داریم میرینیم تو سر کله شما.
He's saying, wow, you have so much audacity. He's saying that to that girl, you're so full of shit. Is it as if you are respecting our opinions? He's like, you're speaking as if you respect our opinions and our beliefs, and it's just us that is shitting on your belief. Like, he's saying, look at the audacity. The same people who would never respect our anti-religious beliefs, our secular beliefs, our liberal beliefs, now they are the same people who are demanding us to respect their beliefs.
ای توفتون شرف نداشتن.
So he should say, I spit on the sharaf. I spit on the honor that you do not have. So, I don't know how to translate that into. All right. So these are some hijab updates that I had to give you guys. Now, just to be fair, let's switch to some religious, because I want to make sure that we're balanced and fair here. And I also want to show you how intense things are in Iran, how intense things are changing in Iran. So I want to give you more examples, because in the previous stream, I gave you some examples like this. But now I want to give you some more examples of very religious people openly being against the regime. One of the first one from outside of Iran, the second one from inside Iran, and bringing pro-Reza Pahlavi and monarchist, actually, anti-Islamic Republic, okay? Just so you know that the diverse range of anti-regime movements that we're seeing in Iran. This is, a lot of people are weirded out by what I'm about to show you, because in Iran, we are very used to, for the like, I mean, things have changed a lot in the past 5 years, but before that, there was this polarization that just had, we reduced the society into two categories. We had the nationalists, who were mostly either un-Islamic, anti-Islamic, or less Islamic. Many of them pro-monarchy, pro-Reza Pahlavi. And then on the other side, we had more religious-minded, pro-regime people, okay? This was the simplified two categories that many minds were used to, right? Things have become a lot more complicated in the past 10 and more importantly 5 years. And just so we could show how things are complicated, these are some examples I'm going to show you. So this is a mullah, and you would expect this mullah to come be anti-monarchy, anti-Reza Pahlavi, anti-revolution, pro-regime. But not only he's not that, he's so aggressively on the other side, which I'm going to play this for you guys so you guys get familiar with these types of people. So this is a mullah. Let's see what he said. So he's outside of Iran, right? So let's see.
شاهزاده رضا پهلوی یه فرد نیالوده است از نظر من به طرفداری کردن از اسلام و یا به بیزاری نجستن از اسلام.
So he's saying Shahzada Reza Pahlavi means Prince Reza Pahlavi, I hope you guys are familiar with who Reza Pahlavi is. He's the main figure when it comes to the opposition. He's the son of the previous king, Mohammad Reza Shah. He's the main figure, the most popular opposition figure right now in Iran, right? So he is saying that Shahzada Reza Pahlavi means Prince Reza Pahlavi. In his opinion, he's somebody that is neither in favor of, aggressively in favor of Islam or against Islam. So
به طرفداری کردن از اسلام و یا به بیزاری نجز.
So he, as a religious person, he's trying to justify his support for Reza Pahlavi against the regime, because a lot of people might be asking him, okay, you're a Muslim, you're a religious scholar, you want to support Reza Pahlavi, is that religiously okay to do such a thing? So he's giving his opinion that Reza Pahlavi seems to be somebody that doesn't really, it's not like promoting Islam, in favor of Islam, or anti-Islam, right? So what's his religious rank? He's considered a scholar, a religious scholar, so that has all the credentials to make Islamic. I wouldn't like, he's not a mujtahid, I think. I mean, I don't know if somebody has. He's basically passed all the seminary courses for him to be able to give opinions regarding what is Islamic or not, right? But so let's see, he's saying so he's saying Reza Pahlavi is neither in love with Islam or hates Islam. So he doesn't love Islam, but he doesn't hate Islam either. Why did it put a song here? Is this going to give me a copyright strike? Okay. He says, we want to be behind Reza Pahlavi. So he says that we want to return back to Iran behind Reza Pahlavi. So he says that we want Reza Pahlavi as a leader. We want to be a follower of Reza Pahlavi and return to Iran behind him as a follower of him, basically, right? This is very odd coming from a mullah. And I know this is pretty odd because when I showed this on the Persian channel, they found it odd as well. Like, I would love to go back to my village. So I guess this guy is a mullah who's anti-regime, and he cannot go back to Iran because of his anti-regime opinion. And he says, like, I would love to be able to go back to my village, and he wants Reza Pahlavi to lead a revolution and follow him back to Iran. That's what he's saying. Yeah, he's saying, wow. So what is saying Tariya? I mean, this is not Tariya because this guy can't go. I mean, he is wanted, but like he cannot go back to Iran because of his opinions. He says, my support for Iran loving is my support for Reza Pahlavi. So remember, when he says Iran Dosti means love of Iran, that is something that Iranians will consider not a mullah to say, because Iran Dosti or loving of Iran is something a nationalist or a patriot would want to say. Not something an Iranian mullah would emphasize on, because their focus should be on Islam. So when a mullah is talking about Iran Dosti, it seems like they're giving into, like, they're accepting nationalist narratives, right? And not only he's saying that my support for Iran loving, like demonstrating that his nationalistic tendencies, but he's saying that that's equal, like I am supporting Reza Pahlavi because I support loving Iran, which is a huge endorsement of Reza Pahlavi. Oh, so now the Islam comes in. Okay, so he's saying this is also the support for Islamic tradition. My Islam and the Quran. So he's basically suggesting that loving Iran, supporting Iran loving, supporting Reza Pahlavi is not a contradiction to Islam. So he's trying to justify that Islamically. But just him saying that, trying to suggest that these are not a contradiction, shows that in Iran, a lot of people consider this a contradiction, right? But he's trying to justify that these are also, what I'm doing is Islamic. What I'm doing is in line with my Islamic views, my Quranic views.
حمایت من از اخلاق الهی.
He's saying my Islamic moral system. Oh, he's saying my support. It's interesting because he said that Reza Pahlavi is somebody who doesn't love Islam or hates Islam, but he's saying that my support for Reza Pahlavi is basically in line with Islamic moral system. So he's trying to justify his position Islamically. Again, I'm not here to suggest that he's right or wrong. I'm just showing you the trends, the exceptions, so you're familiar with everything, even the odd things that are happening in Iran, right? So yeah, that was this guy. Here's another example of a lady inside Iran, and obviously, as you can see, she's wearing a chador, a full chador, and she's a religious person, and she posted this. So I'm just showing you some odd posts by religious people who are supporting Reza Pahlavi, the monarchy. So watch this.
ای پادشه خوبان داد از غم تنهایی دل بی تو به جان آمد وقت است که بازایی سلام و
So she said a poem. Basically, the meaning of poem is saying, "Oh, the king of everything that is good." Hold on, what?
ای پادشه خوبان داد از
the king of all the
غم
good.
تنهایی دل بی تو به جان آمد وقت است.
So she's saying, like, we miss you so much. We are suffering from missing you so much. It's time for you to come back to Iran.
که بازایی سلام و عرض ادب دارم خدمت خاندان بزرگوار پهلوی.
He's saying that I give my salute or blessing or something like that to the family of Pahlavi, to the entire family of Pahlavi. So not just Reza Pahlavi, but his entire family.
خدمت شاهزاده عزیزمون.
Oh, and to the prince. He's basically calling to our prince, to our dear prince.
من نه تنها به شما وکالت میدم برای گذر از این زمان.
So she's saying, not only do I give you, I consider you a representative. Vekalat, guys, how do you translate vekalat dadan? Let me actually make sure that I'm translating this properly. Hold on. So, vekalat midaham. Oh yeah, so not only do I give you the power of attorney, so because there was a movement in Iran to give Reza Pahlavi power of attorney to speak on our behalf. So she's saying, not only do I do that,
بلکه عاجزانه از شما از شهبانوی گرامی و شاه دختر عزیزمون خواهش میکنم که ما رو از صمیم قلبتون ببخشید. ملت
So not only do I do that, I also ask you and your family and the queen and you know, everyone in the family, your mother, everybody, I beg of you to forgive us. She's saying, I beg of you to forgive us, meaning that forgive us for the 1979 Islamic Revolution. She's saying, I beg of you to forgive us.
ایران رو ببخشید تا بلکه تقاصی که در این
Oh wait, hold on. She said that.
خواهش میکنم که ما رو از صمیم قلبتون ببخشید. ملت ایران رو ببخشید تا بلکه تقاصی که در این 43 سال پس
She's saying, please forgive the nation of Iran, which I don't think is fair. The nation of Iran is now, most of them are not the same as the people who did the 1979 revolution, but okay.
داده تموم بشه. ما کارمایی به این جهان هستی پس دادیم که کمتر ملتی در تاریخ.
So she's saying we have paid, basically she says karma has ruined us. We have paid, she actually mentioned karma, which is weird because that's an un-Islamic concept. She says that we have given such a huge, we have been punished so hard, so harshly for our mistake, for the 1979 revolution. She's saying karma has come for us in such a way that it has come for no other nation.
فکر میکنم اینقدر پشت سر هم مشکلات و مصائب بسیار شدیدی رو پشت سر گذاشته باشه.
So she's mentioning all the hardship that the Iranian nation has gone through because of the 1979 Islamic Revolution.
کشتی که در دریا سوخت، هواپیمایی که در آسمان منفجر شد، زلزله‌های متعدد.
So she's actually mentioning some of the hardship, but she's also mentioning earthquakes. Wow, she actually thinks that the earthquakes that are happening in Iran is karma coming for punishing the Iranian people for the revolution. Okay, so she's a bit nutty.
اقدام‌های ناعادلانه و اینها همه در تقاضا همون گرفتن ناعادلانه حکومت از
And like all of this happened because of the unjustified taking of the government
مهربان پادشاهمون بود. مهربان
from our dear king, for our benevolent
پادشاهی
king.
که روزی با چشم
Not naughty, nutty, not naughty. Okay, let's continue.
عادلانه حکومت از مهربان پادشاهمون بود. مهربان
What, guys? You guys don't know what nutty means? Like stupid, not naughty. Okay. Yes, exactly. Not nutty, exactly. Okay.
ناعادلانه و اینها همه در تقاضا همون گرفتن ناعادلانه حکومت از مهربان پادشاهمون بود. مهربان پادشاهی که روزی با چشمانی پر از اشک و با قلبی پر از اندوه کشور رو ترک کرد و برکت
Like our dear beloved benevolent king who left our country with eyes full of tears.
آفتاب رو از ایران برد. امیدوارم
Oh, the king who took away sunshine from our country. So basically the king who, by leaving our country, he also took sunshine away from our country.
که شما در هر شکلی که ملت بهتون رأی میده به بهترین نحو احسنت به کشور برگردید.
Like, I hope in any way that the country votes for you in whatever basically process possible, I hope that you come back to our country. He's talking about
احساس میکنم حکومتی رو به خاندان پهلوی بدهکار هستیم.
Like, we owe the family of the Pahlavi family a government.
و گویی حکومت پهلوی
Guys, is that the best when I say family, is family the best translation for Khandan? Let me actually check. Khandan Pahlavi. Dynasty. Okay, so yeah, dynasty is a better. She's saying that we owe a government. So every time I said family, the better translation is dynasty. She's saying we owe a government to the Pahlavi dynasty. Yes.
و گویی حکومت پهلوی عادت داره به این که ویرانه ای رو تحویل بگیره و آبادانی رو تحویل بده.
So she's saying it's as if the Pahlavi dynasty has a habit of inheriting ruins and delivering prosperity. So because when the Pahlavi dynasty came before, they inherited a ruined country by the Qajar dynasty that came before them, and within only one generation they turned Iran so prosperous, right? So she's basically saying now that Iran is ruined again, given that the Pahlavi dynasty has a habit of taking ruins and turning them into prosperous nations, maybe can you please repeat that again? Can you take the Iran which is ruined again and make it prosperous one more time?
براتون از خداوند سلامتی و موفقیت روزافزون.
Like, I wish from God, I ask God for your health and your victory for you.
در نام خدا موفق و سربلند باشید. آمین.
Amen. Anyway, so that was that. Let's actually see. Okay, so actually, by the way, let me show you a picture of Farah Pahlavi. Do you guys know? It's basically the wife of the former king and the mother of the current Reza Pahlavi, which I have introduced to you guys before. This is her right now, the woman on the left, right? She's basically the mother of the current prince, Reza Pahlavi, the wife of the former king who died. And you could see her here holding, so the flag behind her is the flag of Iran with the lion and the sun and the sword, not the current flag that the Islamic Republic has, the official flag of Iran before the Islamic Republic. But you can see see her here holding an Israeli flag and posing with it, which shows where the Pahlavi dynasty stands right now. The Pahlavi family stands right now. They stand with Israel. But it's interesting that some people were trying to insult her for this picture in this Instagram story. So the comment under it says جز رسالت و مزدوری آشکار و حمایت رسمی از جنایت چه نام دیگری. So somebody's saying, like, what else could you call this other than رسالت و مزدوری? Let me see. رسالت و مزدوری, bastardism, and what is this? Missouri. I don't know how to translate the other one. Okay, so basically they're insulting somebody. Whoever posted this is insulting Farah Pahlavi for posing with the Israeli flag, and saying that this is a support of the disgusting crimes of Israel. But it's interesting. They tried to post this to humiliate her and insult her. But a lot of Iranians, when they saw her, they were like based. They loved her. And a lot of people are like, oh, this is why we support, one of the reasons we support the Pahlavis, because they're always standing on the right side. You know, the fact that they're holding the Israeli flag here shows that they're standing. I mean, guys, imagine where the Iranian people are standing right now, that the Pahlavis are now the most popular opposition right now to the Islamic Republic, and the Pahlavis are with Israel. They support Israel. They stand with Israel, and the Iranian people love the Pahlavis. Reza Pahlavi, Prince Reza Pahlavi, is right now the most popular opposition, the most popular politician in Iran, period, regardless of being opposition or not. Yeah, exactly. Someone's saying that, yeah, that backfired. This is exactly what a lot of people who are trying to insult the Pahlavis, they don't understand the Iranian people. They post this to try to insult the Pahlavis, but the Iranian people love this. They love this picture. So now that we talked Pahlavi enough today. Oh yeah, guys, by the way, I just want to mention a big fuck you to Ted Cruz, John Bolton, Pompeo, Mike Pence, and Giuliani. Okay? Why? Because these motherfuckers are supporting the MEK as the opposition. So look, this is the opposition that you want, okay? Farah Pahlavi and Reza Pahlavi. That is the most popular opposition in Iran against the regime. However, there's another group with the leadership of Maryam Rajavi called the MEK, who have a shit ton of money, and I don't know where they're getting their money from. They used to get their money from Saddam, but now they're getting their money probably from Saudi Arabia. I don't know where they're getting their money from. A lot of people think they're getting their from Saudi Arabia. But these politicians that I just mentioned to you, they're getting funded by the MEK, and even though the MEK is hated as much or maybe even more than the Islamic Republic in Iran, the MEK is a disgusting criminal cult that the Iranian people hate, that have close to zero base support in Iran, but are constantly getting American attention every time there's a revolution in Iran, because they buy out politicians. And these are the politicians that are constantly supporting the MEK instead of the Pahlavis, Reza Pahlavi, because they're getting funded by them. So the Democrats constantly get influenced by the reformers in Iran, like organizations like NAYAK. So guys, please understand, there's three main groups right now. It is that have influence in Western politics. One of them is pro-regime, but they're the reformers, and they influence American politics through an organization called NIAC. That is, and they have their tentacles into the Democratic Party. So this is why the Democratic Party sometimes have policies that are not as aggressive against the Islamic Republic, because the Islamic Republic has effectively used its reformers to have some influence over the Democrats in the government. So that's the Democrats. The Republicans, unfortunately, have picked another group that is, they are anti-regime. The MEK is anti-regime. However, they're even worse than the regime. They're Islamic, they're communists, and they're a fucking cult. And in the same way that the NIAC group and the reformers have used lobbying to influence the Democrats, the MEK has managed to influence the Republicans, many Republicans. The third group, which is trying to influence Western politics to put maximum pressure on the Islamic Republic, is the Pahlavis, and that's the correct group that you should be associating with. Not NIAC, not the reformers, which are pro-regime, not the MEK. Go with the Pahlavis. The Pahlavis have the best, they are mostly the correct positions on things. And I just wanted to, now that I showed you some certain things about the base support that the Pahlavis have within Iran, I just want to show you, whenever you see anything regarding the MEK, I just want to show you what sort of a crazy we're dealing with here and the cult that these people are. Let me know if you want to do more MEK shit. Again, the MEK is an opposition against the Islamic Republic, but their cult is a marriage of communism and Islam. Basically, the two most dangerous ideologies in the world married each other and gave birth, and the MEK was the result. Okay? So let's watch them a little bit to see. This is Maryam Rajavi, which is kind of like their goddess, and they're coming here and pledging allegiance to her and announcing that they're ready and they're present in her, right? And every time they say Hazar, 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 just remember that means present, 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 basically meaning that I'm present. Look at their soldiers coming here, and I just want to see what the type of people they are. And I think I could do many streams about these people, but I just want to show you this short clip so that you know what kind of a crazy we're dealing here. Okay, so watch this. So that's Maryam that's their religious leader, right? That their goddess, basically. They worship her. They actually worship her, right? And look at the soldiers. They're coming here and they're pledging allegiance and readiness and their presence. Okay.
من مجاهد خلق سهیل حائری هیهات 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 مجاهد خلق احسان بیدی حاضر حاضر حاضر. سوگند میخورم من مجاهد خلق که در سازمان پرافتخار مجاهدین خلق ایران تا آخرین نفس و تا آخرین قطره خونم در راه خدا و خلق و جامعه بی طبقه توحیدی مجاهدت کنم. حاضر حاضر حاضر. مجاهد خلق سهراب کلانتر حاضر حاضر. من مجاهد خلق فرزاد راجی بعداً می‌خواستم بگم خیلی بهم چسبید بیشتر گاز بده. حاضر حاضر حاضر. جمشید ناصری حاضر حاضر حاضر. مجاهد لمیار تابوت حسن جواری مجاهد لمیار تابوت انقلاب مریم حاضر حاضر. من اول روی شما رو میبوسم. من مجاهد خلق محمد محسن سوگند میخورم انتقام تک تک خون شهدا رو تا آخرین لحظه حیاتم میگیرم و سنگ قبرم در اشرف تا مرایی. بعد از سلام خیلی دوست دارم. مجاهد خلق امیرعلی نکنیا حاضر حاضر حاضر. مجاهد خلق مجاهد مریمی احسان صمیمی ها مجاهد میمانم و مجاهد میمیرم. حاضر حاضر حاضر. من مجاهد خلق.
They call us a Mujahid Maryami, means Maryami fighter. I'm telling you, these people worship Maryam. If you insult Maryam in front of them, they just see blood. They just get really, one of their chants is Iran, Maryam, Maryam, Iran. Basically, they see Maryam and Iran as the same thing. HD Check is like, these guys are scaring my cat. Guys, these are the people who Ted Cruz, Mike Pompeo, John Bolton, Mike Pence, and Giuliani are supporting as an opposition against the Islamic Republic. This is the best way for Iranian people to lose hope in U.S. support, by supporting these people. This is the best way for some Iranian to think like, you know what, maybe we don't want the toppling of the regime if this is the who the US is supporting.
من مجاهد خلق مجاهد اشرفی بهادر کیامرزی حاضر من مجاهد خلق فریدون ابراهیمی سوگند میخورم خواهر مریم و ولو با چنگ و ناخن و دندانم شده به تهران میبرم هیهات من نزل.
Oh, so this man, okay, so if I could translate everything, it's actually very funny. I'm not going to waste my time translating everyone, but this guy was saying that I will take Maryam to Iran if I have to use my teeth and nail to take Maryam to Tehran. I will do it. So that's so most of them are saying similarly outrageous, weird things. It's like, I swear, I pledge, I swear that I will take my sister Maryam. Well, yeah, with my nails and teeth, if I have to take her to Iran, I will take her to Iran.
و مسعود خیلی دوست دارم، افتخار میکنم در این سازمان عضو کوچک این سازمان شدم. من مجاهد خلق آدم بلوچ، من مجاهد خلق هیهات من ذلت. فقط دو تا چشماتو میبوسم. من مجاهد خلق علی یوسفی حاضر.
So he's saying like, I will kiss both of your eyes, Maryam.
من مجاهد خلق علی یوسفی حاضر.
منم همینطور. مجاهد خلق امیرحسن حسن زاده حاضر. مجاهد خلق کامی دلنی حاضر. من مجاهد خلق محمد خجلی حاضر. من مجاهد خلق مصطفی زاده حاضر. من مجاهد خلق تیروس مرسلپور حاضر. من مجاهد خلق حاضر.
Yeah, very sane people, very quite normal. Oh, guys, your comments are fun. Okay, so let's go to Islamic Santa Claus. I call this Mashhad's Santa Claus. He's a famous. This is one of the highest mullahs in Iran, right? So this guy is so high in Iran when it comes to his position that he's a threat to Khamenei's supreme leadership. Like, Khamenei is basically trying to contain this man. That's how powerful he is. Okay, his name is Alam al-Huda. He's the main guy in Mashhad, Khorasan, from the shrine of Imam Reza, the eighth Imam of Shia Islam. This guy is a leader of that shrine, and he has his own specific Santa Claus. Yeah, he looks like Santa Claus, doesn't he? So this guy is a big deal. Alam al-Huda. Please remember this guy, because he's going to be, when Khamenei dies, we're going to see what this guy's move is going to be, right? He has his own separate base that is loyal to him, separate from Khamenei in Iran, which makes him a threat. Anyways, but I'm not going to talk about him that much. Just remember this guy for future references. However, for the sake of this video, there were a series of videos that we were showing in our Persian channel. By the way, guys, the link to our Persian channel for Iranians is in the description. If you are Iranian or Persian speaking from other countries, please subscribe to our Persian channel as well, so you're updated as well. But there have been a series of videos recently coming from Khamenei, from Ejei, and now from this guy, speaking about uprisings, upcoming uprisings and tensions and division in Iran. And we and a lot of other people were thinking that these motherfuckers know something is about to come down, because the situation in Iran is really, really bad. Situation is, for them, is very tense, and everybody is predicting that another wave of protests is about to come. And so and it just happened, by the way. What I'm showing you is a video from a few days ago, and those videos that I mentioned that I showed in previous streams, they were from a few days ago. But just yesterday and the day before, we're now seeing people in Iran coming back into the streets. And the reason why this was so predictable was because of, the fall of Hezbollah, the fall of Assad, the new hijab law, and mostly economic shit, and also the air quality, air pollution in Iran. The economic situation is terrible. It's fucking terrible. And also because of power outages. And guys, before you blame the sanctions for power outages, remember that the power outages right now in Iran shows that the economic condition is because of the regime, not because of the sanctions. Because Iran is sitting on more gas and oil than most countries in the world. You have no excuse, even with sanctions, you have no excuse to have power outages with the level of energy that you're sitting on. So every time there were economic issues, these motherfuckers will come, that the Iranian people will come and say that the Iranian people should tolerate it because this is the price that we're paying for being on the right side of history, for being on the axis of resistance, for standing up against Zionism, for standing up against Western imperialism. This is the price that we have to pay. And the sanctions, we will accept the sanctions because we want to be on the right side. However, now that we have power outages in Iran, extreme power outages, people are losing electricity, people are losing their income because of power outages, then they're like, this is not because of sanctions, because we don't get our power from outside of Iran. We have so much gas and oil that power outages, you have no excuse for having power outages. How are you going to blame the sanctions? The energy comes from under our feet. Nobody could stop us from having energy. We have the energy under us. So how do we have power outages? So now the economic conditions, the situation is making more people come into the streets. But these were some of the videos that these people were warning beforehand them happening. So we'll listen to this. So he's saying they are trying to come and bring a color revolution, a green colored revolution to our country. Oh, guys, we got super chats. I haven't responded to the super chats. Okay, after this, I will respond. After this section, I will respond to the super chats. Sorry about that. Like they want to topple, they are trying to topple the regime. So he's saying if our people are not experts in recognizing where they are trying to cause division, sow division among us, then our enemies will be able to topple the regime with sowing division among us. So guys, the reason why this video was viral and went significant is because previously the language that these people were using was that, yes, we're getting hit by our enemies, but they were always acting like toppling of the regime was impossible. But now even some of the highest officials in Iran are suggesting that the enemy might actually be successful in toppling the regime. And this is why this video was a huge admission. Let me show you another video that shows that these people are worried. So this is a video that went viral on Iranian social media. And I showed this on our Persian channel. These guys are religious, what we call them IRGC, okay? Which has turned into an insult for radical religious Muslims, right? In Iran. IRGC with an ain instead of an aleph. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But these people have a tradition called Maddahi, which is an Islamic singing in memory of Ali, Hussein, especially Hussein in Karbala or other imams. You know, it's a Maddahi. It's an Islamic Shia way of singing and talking about stuff in a singing voice. So it's called Maddahi. And it's usually focused on Ali, Fatima, and Hussein. These are religious, very holy people in Shia Islam. The video that I'm about to show you is very bizarre and went viral. Yeah, morning singing, maybe like, yeah, basically crying and singing about their death, about their tragedies and stuff like this, right? So, somebody from our Persian channel saying, Armin, please don't make me listen to this again. I'm gonna. So the reason why this video has went viral on Iranian social media is because they're now using this same tradition for for remembering and talking, revering holy Shia people, but this time they're doing it for, get this, Cyrus the Great. Cyrus the Great. Let me, for people who do not understand the significance of this, okay? We have, as I mentioned to you in our previous streams, the understanding, the simplified version of the polar opposites in Iran are the nationalists and the religious Islamists, right? And I'm telling you, in the past 5 years, things are getting more complicated, and there's a lot of people where it's more difficult for us to know where they fit anymore, right? But it's also some people who are genuinely Islamic minded and are trying to come to more on the nationalist side. But there's also the understanding of some people pretending, using nationalist narrative as a defense mechanism, because the Iranian people are becoming so powerful and the Islamists are becoming weaker and weaker, and they're trying to use nationalist narratives as a way to survive in the minds of Iranian people. And this video that I'm about to show you is a very good way of demonstrating that trend, that more Islamists are trying to use nationalist narrative as a way to stay relevant, as a way to not go extinct. Because Islamism is failing in Iran, nationalism is getting the upper hand and is crushing Islamism. So when it comes to revered people by Islamists in Iran, remember, the revered people in Iran for Shias is not Muhammad. It's not even Allah. Okay, they might pretend that it's Muhammad and Allah, but it's not. The revered people in Shia among these Arzashis are Ali, Fatima, and Hussein. This is the Shia trinity that these people adore and love more than Muhammad and Allah. Even if they would never admit it, it's obvious that they do that, right? So on the Islamist side, their main people is Ali, Hussein, and Fatima. On the nationalist side, the main revered people are Kurosh, or Cyrus. So in English they call him Cyrus, and in Persian they call him Kurosh, and Ferdowsi. And the alternative to the Quran for the nationalists, Ferdowsi was a poet, and he wrote a book called the Shahnameh, which is famous for not using a single Arabic word in the Shahnameh, right? So if the Quran and Nahj al-Balagha are the books that are revered by the Islamists, the Shahnameh, which is written by Ferdowsi, which is an Iranian poet who made sure that he doesn't use a single Arabic word in writing the Shahnameh as a poetry, the Shahnameh is considered a revered book by the nationalists, right? So on one side you have the Quran and the Nahj al-Balagha, which is a book by Ali, and on the other side you have Shahnameh. But Kurosh, Cyrus the Great, is the main symbol, the main person that is a symbol of nationalism as the main revered person for nationalists, right? So the reason why this video is bizarre and weird is because these are religious Arzashis in Iran who are using Maddahi, which is a Shia way of revering Hussein and Ali, but in here they're showing the respect for Cyrus the Great. So let's watch this. I hope I explained that well. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So Kurosh is Cyrus. They're saying Kurosh, sleep in peace. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to just play.
آسوده به خاک ما بیداریم ما شیر بچه های حیدر کراریم ما شیر بچه های حیدر کراریم پندار نیک گفتار نیک کردار نیک همه جمع میشه توی عین علی دنیا چیه عرش خدا وصله میخوره به نعلین علی رزاق علی عالم نتیجه انفاق.
So it's interesting because they were trying to show respect for Cyrus, but in the middle of their Maddahi, they also mention Ali. They can't help it. They have to mention Ali. There are the teachings of Cyrus the Great, and Zoroastrianism is three: good sayings, good speech, good act, and good thinking. I think, okay? So they are in their part of their Maddahi is like all these things, all the good teachings of Cyrus the Great is covered by Ali. So even when they're trying to show that they're nationalists and show some respect for Cyrus the Great, they have to add the Ali somehow into it. So while they were showing some respect to Cyrus the Great, they're saying like, don't worry, Cyrus, all the teachings, all your good teachings, our Ali has covered all of that. Oh yeah, so it's basically good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Yeah, thank you. That's a better translation. So they're saying like these are the teachings of Cyrus the Great, and while they're speaking to Cyrus the Great, like you're like, we have an Ali that has covered all your good teachings, Cyrus. Now they switch completely to Ali. They're saying that Ali is the symbol of all good teachings for the whole world. So now they completely changed direction and went back to Ali. Like we will all go to heaven with the philosophy of Ali.
مولا تمام جلوه وحدانیته.
Anyways, it's weird because they started with Cyrus, but they did a factory reset halfway in, and they went back to Ali at so they cannot help it. They have to do Ali. By the way, guys, I was telling you about these people's worries that there's going to be new uprising. It's just started right now in Iran, in the markets, in the bazaar. The Bazari people, the people who work in bazaar, are now protesting, and this might be a sign of more things to come, especially given that the dollar has passed 80,000 2 months in Iran. Given that the inflation is really high right now in Iran, and they're about to increase gas prices, fuel prices for cars in Iran, and then Trump is going to come as well. Like, things don't look good for the regime, and we can see that the predictions of the regime that people are going to come into the streets has been correct. So this is very recent. This is from a day or two ago. So watch this. These are in the bazaars, okay? And it's important that this is in the bazaars because these are the Bazari people. And traditionally, the Bazari people were considered a base of support for the regime. So when the Bazaris turn against the regime, it's a very worrying for the regime. So watch this. These are not like people who are liberal coming into protest for liberal hijab things or Islamic things. These are people who are coming into the streets for economic reasons, and the regime is very worried about this. So they're chanting. I think they're chanting, guys. Confirm the chat if I'm hearing this correctly, because the audio is not very clear. It's saying that we cannot do this with $80,000 2-month dollar. It's unsustainable. That's what the chant is saying. Yeah, that's what they're saying here. Then. Okay, guys, let me show you some. Let's have some fun because this is getting a little bit serious. And I know when we get a bit serious, some of you want, you know, we need a little bit break before we go back to more serious stuff. Let's look at some Shia imams because I was mentioning to you how important Ali and Fatima and Hussein are in Islam. And I think a lot of people do not understand how big of a deal that is, and I need to maybe show that to you in some of these videos. Okay, yeah, let me do some fun stuff so that we have as a break before we go back to some serious stuff. So let me show you the intensity of the position people like Ali have in Shia Islam, how Shia Islam looks at Ali and Hussein and Fatima. And this is exactly the reason why so many Sunnis don't consider Shias to be Muslim, right? And I mean, it's insane. Watch this part.
جبرئیل از خدا سوال کرد میخوام سرچشمه آبهای عالم رو ببینم.
So he's saying, so this, he's doing a speech, he's doing a what is it called? Yeah, this is part of a religious, he has a religious, what is it called? God, what do you call it when a priest goes and gives a speech to his church? I forgot what it's called. Anyways, he's doing that. There's a specific, yeah, he's giving a sermon. Thank you. He's giving a sermon. So this is part of it. Yes, sermon. Thank you, Navid. He's giving a sermon to this audience. So he's saying,
جبرئیل از خدا سوال کرد میخوام سرچشمه آبهای عالم رو ببینم.
So Angel Gabriel asked God. So this is a story about an interaction between Angel Gabriel and God. The Angel Gabriel asked God that I want to see the source of Sarchishma, the fountainhead for all the water in the world. Right?
عالم رو ببینم.
Well, let me make sure I'm getting this.
از خدا سوال کرد میخوام سرچشمه آبهای عالم رو ببینم.
Yeah.
میخوام سرچشمه آبهای عالم رو ببینم. خدا گفت رشته نهر فرات رو بگیر برو.
رشته نهر فرات. So yes, so he said that God told Gabriel to follow the Euphrates River and follow its path to its very source. So take the Euphrates River and go up to its source.
رشته نهر فرات رو بگیر برو. جبرئیل سرعتش مافوق صوت، حالا وقت نیست بگم. یه بال میزنه یه آسمون رو میره، فاصله هر آسمون 1000 سال.
So he said that Gabriel basically flapped his wings once, and he says, the mullah is saying, I do not have time to explain this to you, but Gabriel's flight is above the speed of sound. So physically, he says that I cannot explain to you how that works right now, but he's saying, yeah, so he's saying when Gabriel flies, the speed at which he flies is above the speed of sound. Okay.
جبرئیل سرعتش مافوق صوت، حالا وقت نیست بگم. یه بال میزنه یه آسمون رو میره، فاصله هر آسمون.
So when he flaps his wing once, Gabriel passes through he goes the distance of one sky. So people are like, what do you mean one sky? So apparently we have 7 skies according to Islam, and Gabriel can pass one sky with just one flap of his wing. Okay, so he was following the Euphrates River and he went one sky up. I don't know how you went to the skies while you're following the Euphrates River. I don't know how did you went up into the sky. And he's also telling you the distance of one sky. Okay?
1000 ساله از سالهای اون دنیا که هر آسمون رو میره، فاصله هر.
Yes, ultrasonic. That's what he meant. He literally said it's ultrasonic.
آسمون 1000 ساله از سالهای اون دنیا که هر روزش 1000 سال این دنیاست.
So he's saying that the distance of one sky is 1,000 years, which is weird because years is a measurement of time, not distance. And he says, but so the distance of one sky is 1,000 years, but not the type of year that we have here on Earth. The type of year that we have in the afterlife, and in afterlife, every day is 1,000 years of us. This is getting really complicated.
فاصله هر آسمون 1000 ساله از سالهای اون دنیا که هر روزش 1000 سال این دنیاست.
Okay, so I don't know why he's saying ultrasonic. This is then Gabriel's speed is above the speed of light, not above the speed of sound, or not just sound. But he's saying so Gabriel can pass one sky with one flap of his wing, and the distance of one sky is 1,000 years. But the type of years that we have in afterlife, and in afterlife, every day is 1,000 years of our earth people.
میگه انقدر رشته نهر فرات رو گرفتم رفتم خسته شدم. رسیدم.
It's like he took the رشته. He basically went through the path of the Euphrates River. He was flying it so much that Gabriel looked. The distance was so much that Gabriel got tired. I don't know. What does this mean? Like, where is the Euphrates River going? But Gabriel was flying, like the distance was so much that Gabriel got tired.
به یک باغی که جنت الفردوس بهش 100 درجه داره، بالاترین درجه جنت الفردوس.
Oh, so he says that he went until he reached the garden. Gabriel reached the garden, which is called Jannat al-Firdaus, which is basically a garden in heaven, which is the highest garden in heaven. So heaven has different layers, and apparently they are the best layers where is for the martyrs, the highest layers, and there is the lowest layers. And he says that when he was following this river, he eventually got to the garden, which is that highest level of heaven, which is called Jannatul Firdaus. Oh, there's 100 levels. Oh my God, this is new stories. I don't know. This is a version that I haven't heard of. So apparently heaven, I heard heaven has 7 layers. This guy is saying heaven has 100 layers. So heaven has 100 different degrees, he's saying. Degrees. And the highest degree is Jannatul Firdaus, which Gabriel reached that part. Okay?
جنت الفردوس پیش اون باغ خرابه بود. دیدم تمام آبها از این باغ.
What? جنت الفردوس خرابه.
این درجه جنت الفردوس. جنت الفردوس پیش اون باغ خرابه بود.
Oh, he's saying he reached a garden that Jannatul Firdaus, which is the highest garden, the best garden in heaven, was as if so this is a different garden. This is a garden that was so good that the highest garden in heaven was as like ruins compared to this garden. Wow. So this place that Gabriel reached was even better than the highest gardens of heaven, and so much better that garden was basically nothing compared to this garden that Gabriel reached. Okay.
دیدم تمام آبها از این باغ داره میاد. گفتم خدایا دونستم از
He's saying, I saw that all the waters are coming from this specific garden. All the waters from the world is coming from this specific garden. Okay?
این باغ سرچشمه رو بگو. گفت برو.
Like, okay, I so Gabriel's whole goal, so no, okay, I understand that all the waters are coming from this garden, but I want to see the fountainhead. Where is the fountainhead in this garden? Show me the fountainhead.
دونستم از این باغ سرچشمه رو بگو. گفت برو. قدم زدم رسیدم به یک قصر.
God said, go. He said, so Gabriel was walking in the garden, and he reached.
دیدم تمام آبها از زیر این قصر داره میجوشه.
He said he saw a palace in that garden, and he saw that all the waters is coming from under this palace. Okay.
گفتم خدایا دونستم از زیر قصر منبر رو بگو.
Like
ندا آمد با ذکر برو با.
He said like, okay, and the Gabriel told God, okay, I understand that the water is coming from this garden, but he wants to see what specifically.
گفتم خدایا دونستم از زیر قصر منبر رو بگو. ندا آمد با.
Okay, so he said, okay, but what's the source? So Gabriel is telling God, like, okay, I see that the water is coming from under this palace, but show me the source. So then God told Gabriel to go up above the palace.
میگه قصر آمدم بالا. دیدم یه تختی هست.
He's like, I went I went up and I saw a throne.
روی تخت شخصی خوابیده،
And on that throne there was a man lying on that throne.
حریری روشه، دستای مبارک
Huh?
تختی هست. روی تخت شخصی خوابیده،
Oh, so there's somebody
حریری
lying on that
روشه،
throne.
دستای
What was on him?
تختی هست. روی تخت شخصی خوابیده، حریری روشه، دستای
Hariri Rushe, there was something on top of him and his hands were there.
مبارکش بیرونه، تمام آبها
Okay, so it seemed like there was a curtain on top of him or something was covering him, but his hands were outside of that covering. His blessed hands were outside of
های
it.
عالم از سرانگشتش داره میجوشه.
And all the waters of the world was coming out of his fingers. Okay?
گفتم خدایا کیه؟ فرمود پرده
And then Gabriel asked God, who is this?
بردار که هرچه هست و نیست اونه. پرده
Oh, God said, remove the curtain from this man. So, because everything that ever is and was, everything that is and is not, everything that is and is not is him. God is telling Gabriel to remove the curtain so that he could see who this man is. And God is telling Gabriel that everything that is and is not is this man.
برداشتم دیدم استادم مظهر العجائب مظهر الغرائب اسد الله الغالب علی ابن ابی طالب.
It said like I saw that this was like, and he says so many religious things I don't know. He basically said it was Ali. So it was Ali. Guys, I don't even know. And everybody in the crowd goes wild.
مبارکش بیرونه، تمام آبهای عالم از سرانگشتش داره میجوشه. گفتم خدایا کیه؟ فرمود پرده بردار که هرچه هست و نیست اونه. پرده برداشتم دیدم استادم مظهر العجائب مظهر الغرائب.
I don't know how these Arabic people like I don't know how to translate these Arabic words, but he's saying it, he's describing it in such an epic way who this man is, and he's describing who it is, and then he says it's Ali, and they look, everybody in the crowd is like shouting, and he's
اسد الله الغالب علی ابن ابی طالب.
Ali ibn Abi Talib. Look, they're loving it. The crowd is loving it.
سرچشمه آبهای عالم علیه.
And then God says, you see, the source of all the water in the world is Ali.
اگر قرار شد انشاءالله بریم بهش، سردر بهش تو آب غسل میکنیم، تو اون آب غسل کردی حیات ابدی پیدا میکنی. این آب از دستان امیرالمؤمنینه.
Like he said, like, my dear friends, I hope we go to heaven and we get to do wash ourselves in the waters that are coming out of the fingers of Ali.
اگر قرار شد انشاءالله بریم بهش، سردر بهش تو آب غسل میکنیم، تو اون آب غسل کردی حیات ابدی پیدا میکنی. این آب از دست
Here, like at the doors of heaven, we will go and basically do our water blessing with the waters that are coming from Ali.
بهش سردر بهش تو آب غسل میکنیم، تو اون آب غسل کردی حیات ابدی پیدا میکنی. این
Like if you wash yourself with that water, you will get eternal life. I said you get eternal life anyways if you're in heaven.
آب از دستان امیرالمؤمنینه. اونی که حیات ابدی میده دستای علیه.
Like, oh, he's saying, okay, so in heaven, the reason why you have eternal life in heaven is because of the hands of Ali. So it's the hands of Ali is the giver of life. And when you go to heaven, because you wash yourself in the water that is coming from the hands of Ali, that is what's giving you eternal life. Look at the crowd going wild. Okay, guys, this is short. Okay, if Sunnis tell you that Shias are a bunch of mushriks, this is why. Well, imagine God telling Angel Gabriel that everything that is and is not. How is everything that is not Ali? Everything that is and is not is Ali. That the eternal life comes from the water that comes from the hands of Ali. Yeah, this is godhood. This is not just I mean, they don't talk about Muhammad. Guys, do you think Shias talk about Muhammad like this? They never talk about Muhammad like this. They talk about Ali like this. They talk about Hussein like this. They talk about Fatima like this. They never, guys, Iranians in the chat, have you ever seen Shias talk about Muhammad like this? Never. Never seen it. I've never seen it. Let me actually show you some. Do you guys want to see it? Do you want to see more of this? I have more. Yeah, anti-Islam saying, yeah, no wonder. Now, yeah, people, Iranians in the chat are telling me they never seen. Yeah, we never see Shias talk about Muhammad like this. So let's watch this one. This one. Oh, this is bizarre. This is good. This is so good. This is so good. So watch this one.
میدونید زمینا صبح به صبح با هم حرف میزنن؟
He says, do you know every morning grounds talk to each other? Guys, this is not a mistranslation, okay? I'm not. This is okay. You heard me correctly. Do you know every morning grounds talk to each other? Like this ground over there talks to the ground over there. Okay, so let's listen.
این زمین با اون زمین همسایه صبح میشه اینا با هم حرف میزنن.
So like this ground talk with that ground, the neighboring ground, every morning they talk each other. So this ground over here every morning talks to the neighboring ground over there. Okay, so guys, where do you think this is going? Where do you guys think this is? Where do you like think about the Shia mindset and ask yourself, given everything I learned about Shias on Armin's streams, where is this going? Okay, so let's watch this. Oh, they ask each other how they are doing. So they're like, hey, good morning, my neighboring ground, how are you doing? Like, yeah, I'm okay, how are you doing? So they ask each other how they're doing.
بعد او از این سوال میکنه دیروز بر تو چه گذشت؟
And then after they ask each other how they're doing, then the grounds ask each other, what happened yesterday on top of you?
بگو ببینم عبادت خدا شد یا معصیت خدا؟
Ma'asiyat. Okay, so ma'asiyat. Okay, so they ask each other that if people on top of you pray to God or they sinned. Okay, this is yeah, I don't know if the grounds speak in Arabic or Persian. I think they speak in ground language. They speak in ground language. But okay, so basically they ask each other, did people pray on top of you yesterday, or were people sinning on top of you? Like if you have an orgy, then the ground on top of you the next day, like, oh, yeah, people were having an orgy on top of me. And you're like, oh, people were praying on top of me. Like, oh, I'm so jealous. People like, I got orgy, you got prayer. Oh, yeah, by the way, I forgot the super chat. After this, I will do the super chat. Okay?
او از او سوال میکنه تو بگو ببینم دیروز روی تو معصیت خدا کردن یا عبادت خدا کردن؟ زمینا شروع میکنن به هم دیگه جواب دادن. تو السنه روایات داریم اباهات.
So yeah, so the grounds they saw speaking each other. Basically, this is kind of like an honor for grounds, what happened on top of it. So the grounds start talking to each other, and then
روایات داریم اباهات افتخار مال اون زمینیه که برای زمین دیگری خبر بده دیروز رو من برای حسین مجلس گرفت.
And he shouts at the very end, and he says, the greatest honor for a ground is so that they could tell the other grounds around it that yesterday on top of me, people had a mourning ceremony for Hussein. People were crying for Hussein in Karbala on top of me yesterday. That is the greatest honor for a ground, to be able to say that to the grounds, to the neighboring grounds. So nice. Now he's just saying, I genuinely didn't see that coming. By the way, guys, remember this. The greatest honor was not for people to be praying to Allah on top of you. He didn't say, so one ground, like say we have 3 grounds. One ground is saying like they had an orgy on top of me. Oh, the shame that I had an orgy on top of me yesterday. The next ground is saying like, oh, I am actually I had the honor. I'm so blessed. People were praying. They were doing salat. They were doing their namaz. They were praying to Allah on top of me yesterday. But no, the greatest honor is this. That's not the greatest honor. Yeah, Allahu, exactly. The greatest honor is for the ground that says that people were doing a mourning ceremony on top of me for Hussein. They were doing an Ashura. I'm wearing kind of black, so do you see the priorities here? Oh my God. This is a really good demonstration of what Shia Islam is all about, right? Ground rap battle. Yeah, somebody make that video. That's good. I love that. That's good. You guys are funny. Okay, let's do some super chats before we go to the next videos. Sorry, I've been missing on the super chats. Ginga is saying, keep on the good work, Armin. Mwah, mwah. Well, thank you. Shekels from Israel. I love it when we have support from Israel. Guys, I really love having both a major Iranian audience and also Israeli audience. It's like, but I also love everybody here, okay? But this is I'm glad that we have a new Israeli audience in the chat. So thank you guys for supporting the channel. Carl is saying, thank you for the super chat, Carl. Carl saying, hey, I was always fascinated by Al-Sistani and the school in Najaf, who was opposed to Khomeini. Are there more factions like that in Shia clergy? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you could make a whole drama TV series about the infighting between these people, for sure. I mean, look at the Shirazi sect, for example. Okay, thank you. I mean, I don't know if you want me to do a stream on that. That would get too nerdy, but yes, the answer is yes. Greg is saying Muslims say that Sharia law is God's law. Then why does the grass grow green under the Judeo-Christian foot and not under Muslim nations' feet? Because you see it as a curse, Greg. But hardship is a blessing. If you read the Quran, when you become too obsessed with the dunya instead of the akhirat, meaning the world instead of the afterlife, with becoming rich, with having prosperity, God will tell you, is this what you want? I will drown you in pleasure and prosperity so you remain obsessed with this world and lose the other world. But when you experience hardship, that's actually a blessing from Allah, because hardship brings you closer to Allah. Hardship reminds you that what matters is not this world, it's the afterlife. So hardship is actually God's love to you as a way to bring you back to Him away from this world. See, that's the Islamic answer. Carla is saying, it's funny when Armin gets so excited to translate. Yes. I did. Yeah. Okay. Well, I like that you're having fun with it. Oh, guys, do you want to see another weird Shia video? Let me actually, because we're having too much fun with this. Let's see what this mullah has to say. This Shia mullah has to say, because it's just too much fun. Do we want to do Khamenei speeches after? No, I mean, we're having too much fun to get serious. We already did the political stuff. Let's just have fun, okay? Let's just do this one, and then I'll look at your comments, okay? There's some other serious stuff that I could cover, but we're having too much fun. This guy is the voices.
من شنیدم شیعیانی که اسکیمو هستن.
This Iranian Shia mullah is saying that I've heard of Shias who are Eskimos. Okay, wait. So wait. Okay, who? Like I've heard of Eskimo Shias. Wait.
من شنیدم شیعیانی که اسکیمو هستن یا به دست خود امام زمان شیعه شدن.
These are Eskimos who have become Shias by the Mahdi himself. So Imam Mahdi, the hidden Imam, has went, I don't know, maybe to the North Pole, and he has reached to the Eskimos and he has turned them into Shias. Okay?
با اینکه اسکیمی بودن آقا رو نمیشناختن وقتی یارب
He's like, it's true that these people were Eskimos and they did not know the Mahdi. So they were not familiar with the Mahdi because they were Eskimos.
با اینکه اسکیمی بودن آقا رو نمیشناختن وقتی یارب گفتن یارب چه قوقاییه که امام زمان از
When the Mahdi, the hidden Imam, went to the Eskimos and he said Ya Rab, so he basically started praising God. The Eskimos heard him praise God.
طرف خدا مأمور میشه نجات بده تو بورانهای برف.
And like basically, I think in the snow, he's saying that in the snowstorms over there, they saw that how, I don't know, praising God helped the Mahdi.
از طرف خدا مأمور میشه نجات بده تو بورانهای برف تو طوفانهای قطب طوفانها و یخبندانهای 50 درجه زیر صفر.
So he's saying in the harsh conditions of the North Pole, in under 50 degrees, minus 50 degrees Celsius, in storms that were in the snowstorms over there.
وقتی راه رو اسکیموها گم میکنن
When the Eskimos, when they lost their way,
داد میزنن مهدی یا مهدی.
now they shout Mahdi, Mahdi. They shout Mahdi, Mahdi.
اینو شیعیان اونجا گفتن که به دست
This is the Shias over there. They mentioned it. Yeah, they became directly Shia because of the Mahdi.
و در دانشگاه‌های آمریکا اقرار کردن ما آقای شما شیعیان رو دیدیم بارها.
Oh, and in American universities, they have admitted that they have seen your sir, your Lord, your Mahdi. They have seen it in American universities. I don't know how he all of a sudden switched from the North Pole to American universities. I don't know what the hell happened there.
کردن ما آقای شما شیعیان رو دیدیم بارها تو بورانهای برف ما رو نجات داد.
Oh, we went back to the snowstorms. He's saying like people in American universities have mentioned that the Mahdi, your Lord Mahdi, have saved us in snowstorms. They have mentioned it many times, apparently, according to this guy. I don't know what this guy is on. By the way, guys, these types of narratives by Shia mullahs in Iran are so common. Like there is endless numbers of these videos. Let me know if you want to do more of them, because they are, oh my god, there's just so many of them. There are so many of them. Anyways, okay, so I had so many more videos to show you guys. I don't know if I should do it now. Should I do some more videos? Because I might get a bit tired. Yeah, let me actually do them later. Guys, if you appreciate me doing, yeah, because I have to go get ready for New Year's and stuff. I just have so many videos. But yeah, let me go get ready for that. I will do another stream to do some of my other videos. But make sure you like this. If you appreciate me doing more from Iran, like I have endless supply of content from Iran for you guys. And if you think that this is good, this is informative, this is a good learning experience about what's happening, and also entertaining, please like the stream. So I because your likes will get this video more views. And if I see that it's getting more views, I notice that there's enough demand for it for me to do more of them. So like the stream, leave a comment. The comments will help me get more views as well. If you're new here, subscribe. If you're subscribed, make sure you hit the bell notification. If you've done all of that, please recommend this channel to everybody so that the channel grows, because you don't see this introduction this deep into, you know, politics in Iran, also in the region, in Syria and Lebanon, in what's happening, their relationship, what's happening between the Islamic Republic and Israel, and also the content coming directly from that region. You're not going to see that in any other English-speaking stream. So this is exclusive to the people that are watching Atheist Republic. This is the only source for the English-speaking audience. So if you appreciate that, please, oh, thank you, Heavy Gretel. If you appreciate that, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. Your comments that telling me that this is helpful motivates me to do some more of this, okay? I read that. It gives me a lot of energy. But let me actually look at your comments. Oh, thank you so much, Bera, for the super sticker. I appreciate the support. And, oh, we got another one. But HD Drake, thank you so much, HD Drake, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. These are comments that today we had two Sarahs highlighting your comments, right? We had Israeli Sarah starting, and then she left. Thank you so much, Israeli Sarah. And then the Iranian Sarah came and took over. So two Sarahs were highlighting comments today. This shows how international, guys, look at our volunteers. We have Israeli volunteers, we have UK volunteers, we have Iranian volunteers, we have two Sarahs, one Iranian, one Israeli. This shows how international we are at this channel. All right, so this person is saying uneducated should know that Iran is a Christian country. What? Iran is not a Christian country. This is some quote from you. Iran is becoming non-religious. The people are leaving Islam, but they're not joining any other religion. Most Iranians who are leaving Islam, they're just leaving as religion as a whole. I don't know what you're talking about. Christian country. No, it's not a Christian country. Odin is saying Muhammad Bagher Majlisi is the origin of Khomeinism and the reason why Shia Islam became so ugly. No, Shia Islam is ugly to begin with, because before that it was very positive sex, like Mullah said. Nope, bullshit. Shia Islam, just like the rest of Islam, was disgusting and vile from the beginning. Anything you see in the name of some of the scholars that you mentioned, if you actually notice anything positive that some of the scientifically or more philosophically minded scholars in Islamic history, that they actually did contribute positive scientific and philosophy and poetry during the so-called golden age of Islam. I don't call it the golden age of Islam. I called it the golden age of the Middle East and North Africa. Anything that they contributed was not because of Islam. If you actually look at their work, they were doing science. They inherited a lot from Greek science and Greek philosophy, and they were doing science independent from Islam. But because the environment there was Islamic, once they finished the work, they had to put an Islamic finishing job on top of it to be able to provide it as their services in the marketplace of ideas at that time. But no part of their contributions were anything that is that can be attributed to the Quran or the Hadith, which is Islam. These were just scholars that were doing science and philosophy independent from Islam, and they just happened to give it an Islamic finish so that it was acceptable in the environment at that time. But none of their contribution had anything to do with either Shia Islam or Sunni Islam. Both Shia Islam and Sunni Islam are vile and disgusting and problematic and a curse upon society from the very first day. So there's that. Muhammad is saying, one day, no Israel, no USA. Actually, you're right. But when we have no Israel, no USA, I know you're anti-Israeli and anti-American person, but you're right for a different reason. We will eventually, humanity will evolve so much that we will evolve to something beyond nation states as a whole. Right now, the concept of a nation state is fantastic and is working, but eventually we will evolve into something, another concept called something closer to a network state rather than nation states. And when the day that we have no USA or no Israel is the day that we have no other countries. It's not because anti-Semitic people like you have managed to wipe out Israel. No, Israel will survive. Israel will survive. If we have no Israel one day, it's because the concept of a nation state as a whole has been outdated, not because you vile, disgusting people like you, Muhammad, have managed to be able to annihilate Israel. And by the way, Muhammad, thank you so much for coming here and showing your genocidal tendencies and confirming once again to our audience why we need Zionism. Thank you so much for that service. Oh my God, this guy is actually not very stable. Yeah, this guy is actually kind of crazy. Maybe I shouldn't have insulted him. Maybe he's mentally handicapped or something. I don't know. Okay, so LF saying, can anyone explain, because I'm always confused by hijab, a symbol of modesty mixed with a lot of makeup? I mean, you go ask the people who are wearing hijab with makeup. I mean, it is a contradiction. If you're confused, a lot of people call them out on their hypocrisy. Mazak is saying Muslims could be liberal too, Armin. Yes, Milli Mazhabi party was liberal. No, okay, I don't agree with any party that was want to be based on Islam that violates secularism. I don't consider a party that is Islamic. So Islam cannot be liberal. Muslims can be liberal by ignoring Islam. Islam itself can never be liberal. And any Muslim who claims to be liberal, secular minded, and wants to start a party that has Islam in it is violating one of the most important parts of liberalism, which is secularism. I will accept a Muslim being liberal if they say that they don't want any form of religion in government, including no parties that are Islamically based. Again, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to call out, I'm not going to call out your Islam or insult your Islam. I'm going to continue to call out, criticize, and insult your Islam while befriending you as a liberal Muslim, as long as you accept me as somebody who continues to insult your Islam. I will accept you as a liberal person that has some idiotic beliefs, but still some other good beliefs. But if you tell me that you are a liberal-minded Muslim and want to have a party that has something to do with Islam, I'm like, yeah, no, that's not liberal. Take your Islam out of government completely. Muhammad is saying, okay, this guy is just not very smart. This guy is not worth the time. In this saying, how liberal was Iran under the Shah, and what was happening to society? Look it up. The history. Females used to piss on the walls. Disrespectful society was building up under assumption. I don't know what the hell you're on about. The thing is that the trend was in the right direction. Was Iran under the Shah as liberal as we liberals today considered ideal? No. But was it becoming more liberal on a rapid, very quickly? Like, it's not about where you are right now. It's about the direction. It's about the trend. You have to look at the trend. Under the Pahlavi, Iran was modernizing very, very quickly. It was becoming, education was growing, economy was growing, women's rights were growing, access to the culture was growing, tourism was growing, access to clean water was growing, access to free education was growing, access to healthcare was growing, everything, industrialization was growing. And also when it comes to politics, we were going in the direction of, like, for example, Mohammad Reza Shah allowed women to vote for the very first time. Women didn't have the right to vote. Women didn't have the right to education. So under Mohammad Reza Shah, women were given the right to vote and education. Women were being brought into the workplace. So was it perfect? No. Was everything getting better incredibly, like really fast? Yes. If the revolution would not happen in 1979, we would have been the most liberal country based not just in the Middle East. Iran by now would have been more liberal than some European countries if the 1979 revolution did not happen. That's how fast we were progressing. Ricky is saying, is the power outage issue similar to ANC corruption? So you're talking about South Africa, I think. And power outages in South Africa. Oh yeah, you are talking about South Africa. So it's much worse. It's much worse because at least in South Africa, you can see what the fuck is happening. The thing is that in Iran, you don't even have the data. The IRGC has taken the oil and the gas away from the Iranian people, and they're selling it in complete darkness, taking it away from the Iranian people, selling it at much cheaper price through Malaysia, through China, for spending it on their axis of resistance. So the situation is of so much. It's not just corruption. It's corruption assumes that, if you get some corrupt people and stop them from stealing the gas and the oil, things will be fixed. That's not what's happening in Iran. In Iran, the main military arm of the regime, which is now basically the main power in Iran, is taking the oil and selling it close to half the price because of the sanctions through dark markets, trying to evade sanctions to China, taking away the wealth of the Iranian people as a way to fund its war against Israel. That's what's happening. And also what's happening right now, one reason why outages are increasing now is because of Bitcoin. Guys, do you understand? Can anybody in the live chat tell me why Bitcoin is causing outages in Iran, the increased price of Bitcoin? Because remember, the oil and gas of Iran that belongs to the Iranian people, IRGC is stealing that from the Iranian people to fund Hamas, Hezbollah, Kataib Hezbollah, to sell it to China, use the oil. So basically it's China, Russia, IRGC, Hezbollah. So here's how everything is connected, right? We have Chinese money, Russian weaponry. So Iranian people's oil and gas sold to China undercover, avoiding sanctions. Because you're avoiding sanctions and selling it secretly, you have to sell it at a discount because you're not selling the oil and gas in the free market that exists, through normal trade. So China gets such cheap oil and gas from Iran because they're buying it out, through the dark market. So the Chinese money goes through Iran. The IRGC uses that to buy Russian weaponry. Russian weaponry goes to Hezbollah, Hamas, Kataib, to Iraq, to the Houthis against Israel. So this is a theft of Iranian wealth for the ambitions, Islamic ambitions of the regime against Israel, right? However, this is not a perfect system. It's really hard to try to come up with the scheme to avoid all of these sanctions and steal the Iranian oil and gas. However, there's another way that you don't have to go through all of these loops to steal the Iranian oil and gas from the Iranian people and sell it to China. What is that? Instead of sending it to China, especially with Trump coming now, Trump is going to make it very difficult for the Iranian regime to sell the oil and gas to China. So what do they do instead? They just burn it in Iran and turn it into Bitcoin. And recently, because Bitcoin prices has increased, this has become more profitable. And that's why you see a lot of air pollution in Iran getting to all-time highs. So the Iranian regime is now not only stealing oil and gas from the Iranian people is now stealing their air as well, because it's easy to, as a way, if you cannot avoid sanctions and bypass the sanctions to sell your oil and gas, you can avoid sanctions by just selling the Bitcoin. So if Trump comes and all the US military comes and tries to make sure that this oil and gas is not leaving Iran, okay, well, the Iranian regime okay, I'm not going to make it leave Iran. I'll just burn everything here and turn it into Bitcoin, and I'll just sell the Bitcoin. Especially now, this is why the reason why you see outages more in Iran right now is because there's a lot of Bitcoin farms in Iran run by the government that is using the electricity grid, the subsidized electricity. So it's not only they're burning the oil and gas to make Bitcoin, they are actually using the electricity that is subsidized by Iranian taxpayers to make Bitcoin to fund the IRGC against Israel. And all that gas and oil, instead of spreading it around, selling it to the world, for them to burn it and spread around the world to burn it for their energy, now they're aggressively burning it inside Iran, and that's why the air pollution is getting even worse, aggressively worse. All of this to fund their axis of resistance. And that's right now, Bitcoin prices went up and outages went out as well, because the Bitcoin farmers in Iran, run by the government, is now working overtime, and they're using such high levels of electricity that not only is the Iranian people don't have that electricity anymore, the cost is even more, because a lot of factories are dealing with power outages and they're shutting down, and they cannot produce their products, and they cannot make deliveries that they already have contracts on, these factories, because of the power outages. And once they lose that contract, even if they get the electricity back, those people who are buying these products from them, they are going to go with other companies or other factories, and they're going to lose those deals permanently, because it's not worth dealing with these factories that cannot deliver on their products, even if you get your electricity back in later. This situation is horrible. It's such an understatement to call it horrible. These people they're ruining Iran. They're spending Iran for defeating Israel. You know how that guy was saying, we will destroy Israel? They're destroying Iran. They're destroying Iran for the sake of maybe being able to destroy Israel. It's such a horrible situation. It's such a curse upon the Iranian people. No, so HD Drake saying, if Bitcoin crashes, could that crash the Islamic Republic? No, because they will go back to trying to sell the oil and gas. It's a mix of turning it into Bitcoin or selling the oil and gas in the dark market. So if Bitcoin is not as profitable, they will use the other method. They take the oil that is from Iran and they try to mix it with other countries' oils. For example, mix it with Iraqi oil and sell it as Iraqi oil. And because the oils are mixed, it's hard for people who are trying to enforce the sanctions. They're trying to make it difficult for them to figure out whose oil is whose. Right? And again, as long as you have China and Russia, who are willing to buy Iran, no, not Russia. As long as you have China who's willing to buy Iranian oil and gas, Iran will always have a way out. China is the problem here. Anyways, guys, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting. Thank you so much for this HD Drake. Thank you so much for the last super chat. And guys, please do not support us financially unless you are financially secure. There are 3 ways to support us: like, subscribe, bell notification, word of mouth, and also don't recommend us if it's not safe for you to recommend us. But if it's safe for you, then recommend us. Then what the hell? If it's safe for you, so please tell your friends to subscribe to us. And if you don't have friends, then go make friends. But in the meantime, tell your enemies. And if you don't have enemies, go make enemies. Anyway, I'm kidding. All right, guys. Bye. Mwah. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. And thank you, Sarah. Both Sarahs, thank you for your service.